All right, everyone. This is my Biohacking Brazil presentation. Good to see you. I am Shawn Wells. Let me pull up my screen. Okay, so resilient and brilliant becoming harder to kill during the pandemic. It's the whole point of what we need to be as humans, is to be more resilient to the world around us, the difficult world around us. And that makes you be able to survive flus, COVID-19, sickness, stress, frustration, losing your job, injuries. Resilience is the key to a better life, both mentally and physically. So first, about me. Who is Shawn Wells? Named the top ketogenic expert by Fox News, nutritional biochemist. I have over 10 patents with ingredients like T-creen and dynamine, beta hydroxybutyrate, which are ketones, dihydroberberine. I have a lot of ingredients that you've probably heard of or used. I've been doing the ketogenic diet for about 20 years now and been known as an expert on that. I'm a fellow in the International Society of Sports Nutrition and also a certified sports nutritionist. I've done a documentary called The Skinny on Fats. I've also done one called Supplements Revealed and The Answer to Cancer. So I've done 3 documentaries, over 15 TV appearances, 7 years on a national radio show called One Life Radio. I've spoken in Brazil, in China, Europe, and all over the United States. And I have 10 years of clinical experience as a chief clinical dietitian working in acute care hospitals and long-term care, like nursing homes. So that all sounds amazing, right? I sound like I'm living the perfect life, but everything is not as it seems. We know this. And Instagram is filtered. I grew up with severe depression, 80 to 100 pounds overweight, let's say 40 to 50 kilos, and a very involved health journey. But all of that gave me my why. That's why I was so passionate. That's why I've achieved so much, is because of how badly I was hurting and how sick I was. So the overview of my talk: what's wrong with me, what led me to discover keto, what other tools I've added along the way, how biohacking has helped, and then questions and answers, which please feel free to contact me with any questions you have, and I'll have that at the end. But also you can see @Ingredientologist is my Instagram, and feel free to DM me. So I was at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and that's where my autoimmune fight began. That's when I got Epstein-Barr virus, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's syndrome. My body was breaking down because of how hard I was pushing it, how much stress I was under, the depression that I was fighting. And I stumbled into these 2 books, The Ketogenic Diet, a complete guide for the dieter and practitioner, and a bodybuilding book called The Underground Body Opus by Dan Duchaine, both talking about the ketogenic diet over 20 years ago. So my medical history, again, depression, obesity, anorexia. I went from 300 pounds to 150 pounds. Epstein-Barr virus, again, all these autoimmune issues. And then later on, I ended up getting a tumor and having cancer risk and headaches and hormone dysfunction and insomnia. But after discovering keto and feeling so much better and getting energy back, and then even getting lean, I used to be very heavy, very overweight, and because of keto, I was able to get lean. And so I started about 10 years ago. After about 10 years on the ketogenic diet, I started getting focused on all of these new trends: the ketogenic diet, paleo whole food, intermittent fasting, exercise, regular exercise, including high intensity interval training, taking my immune supplements, and then biohacking. I was doing all of these things put together 10 years ago that are now trendy now. And so you can see, following my best practice, I was able to get lean, I was able to build muscle, I was able to get healthy. When most of my life I have been sick and felt like I was broken, either being very, very skinny, very overweight, having a lot of immune health issues, insomnia, depression, suicidal thoughts. When I started putting all these things together, the ketogenic diet, paleo, intermittent fasting, exercise, meditation, gratitude, taking the right supplements, getting my proper sleep, my life changed. So one of the new terms I like, because I do like both eating paleo and the ketogenic diet, is I found this in research just this year. They started using this term, the Paleolithic ketogenic diet, the PKD. And I believe that's the next step. When you get away from eating ultra processed foods that have rancid and harmful oils, that have sugar, that have artificial flavors, colors, and sweeteners, that have GMOs, antibiotics, all kinds of issues. They have bliss point chemicals that trigger serotonin and dopamine to make you overeat them. This doesn't happen with our whole foods, our healthy foods. And so I love the paleo diet for that reason, so that we can get away from the inflammation associated with ultra processed foods. We can get away from the inflammation associated with high glycemic carbohydrate and rancid fats. So this is like where we should head, is a ketogenic diet and a Paleolithic diet. And I understand that some of you don't find it necessary to do the ketogenic diet, and that's fine. I don't think carbs are bad. I think the ketogenic diet is helpful, probably the most effective diet if you're overweight, if you have insulin resistance, if you have energy issues related to autoimmune conditions, if you have chronic fatigue, then the ketogenic diet can be an incredible diet to help you lose weight faster, to help you feel energy more. But if you're someone who's naturally lean, naturally energetic, then you can eat the way you're eating because you're clearly doing the right thing. So it's not right for everyone, but it can be super helpful for many people out there. And I get into here like the polyphenols that I believe are the most powerful anti-aging compounds. They activate the sirtuin genes, SIRT, sirtuin genes that are associated with healthier aging, longer life, that protect those telomeres so that they can stay longer and not unravel as quickly. Also, they keep NAD high, and we want that NAD to NADH ratio to be elevated so we can live longer. And that has to do with the citric acid cycle, also known as the Krebs cycle, and how we produce energy. It protects the mitochondria if we keep the NAD levels elevated. And these polyphenols are just powerful anti-aging compounds. And you can get them in curcumin and garlic and strawberries, apples, green tea, ginger, blueberries, red wine. You know, you've heard of resveratrol. So these are incredible compounds. Sulforaphane from broccoli, powerful anti-cancer compound. So why does keto work with autoimmunity? It's not clear in the research, but I think it has to do with mitochondrial health and dysfunction, because ultimately it's about cellular energy. And fasting and exercise improves autophagy, but it also improves mitophagy, as does keto. So when we know that when the mitochondria do not function properly, you end up with insufficient cellular energy. You don't have enough energy that your body needs to operate. And what happens as a result of that lack of energy, you run into glycation, which is blood sugar damage, inflammation, oxidation, faster aging biologically with the telomeres, greater risk for almost all disease states, glucose intolerance, elevated insulin, metabolic dysfunction. All of this is happening because your mitochondria are not working correctly. You don't have enough of them. They're not efficient, and they're not making enough energy. So 3 easy labs that I can tell you your biological age, your disease risk, your metabolic health is 3 labs, 3 simple labs that we could be looking at that are so easy. We could do this once or twice a year and chart them out and see how you're doing metabolically. And so it's HSCRP for inflammation, C-reactive protein, hemoglobin A1C for glycation, which is blood sugar damage, and oxidized LDL for oxidation. And so if we are looking at inflammation, glycation, and oxidation, we could get a sense of how your mitochondria are doing. So time-restricted feeding, also known as intermittent fasting and extended fasting. The ketogenic diet mimics this state of fasting because it elevates beta-hydroxybutyrate, the key ketone. And that happens in the absence of glucose. So I prefer that anyone starting this diet do a strict ketogenic diet with less than 20 grams of carbohydrate a day and high fat, like 75, 80% of calories coming from fat and about 20% coming from protein. And then as you go on, maybe as you adapt 90 days in, you can do a cyclical or targeted ketogenic diet approach where you can use carbohydrates strategically. And fasting has been used for many ailments. It's definitely been shown to be helpful with immunity, boosting immune factors, helping recovery. We were talking about autophagy, that cellular detox and cleanup. All of that's been shown with fasting. So what supplements do I use for immunity? I do like the exogenous ketones. That means the supplemental form of ketones. My favorite form of MCTs, medium chain triglycerides, is C8 caprylic acid. AHCC, which is a studied compound from mushrooms. Monolaurin, which comes from coconut oil. It's potently virucidal and antibiotic. So adaptogens, which help with your stress response, so like rhodiola and ashwagandha. L-lysine is a ketogenic amino acid that boosts the immune system. Liposomal vitamin C is a special form of vitamin C that is encased in a liposome that allows you to take higher amounts so that you don't get the GI distress, but also it allows you to have higher bioavailability through the liposome. So, every bit that you're taking is more effective. Vitamin D3 and K2, two absolute favorites for immunity. And you've been hearing a lot about vitamin D with COVID, with flu, with immunity. Vitamin D is one of the first tools that we should get in terms of boosting our immunity. And that does involve also getting sunshine. Glutathione and acetylcysteine, they both boost endogenous glutathione levels, that master antioxidant. Probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics all form what's known as synbiotics. Cat's claw is another good herb. So my 2 favorite ones for immunity, these are the ones I lean on when I feel my body crashing. AHCC is a patented compound and is very expensive, but it works. I might, over the course of a week or a week and a half, use about 1/4 of a bottle, but I just save it for when my body needs it, when I feel my body crashing. And lysine is very cheap, but again, helps me out tremendously when I use larger doses, again, when I feel my body crashing. And that's when I take even 2 to 3 times that amount when my body's really feeling low. So mitochondrial supplements, PQQ and CoQ10 help with the electron transport chain. NMN and NR both increase that NAD to NADH ratio I was talking about. But even better is if you do intravenous NAD infusion, that has a much better effect on that NAD to NADH ratio than anything you can take orally. Berberine and cinnamon are my favorites for blood sugar and reducing glycation. CBD and curcumin for reduced inflammation. EGCG, resveratrol, pterostilbene help with oxidation. Those are those polyphenols. L-ergothioneine found in mushrooms as well, just like that AHCC. We're finding out mushrooms are so powerful for immunity. This is a trace amino acid that has a profound effect at protecting the mitochondria, not just the cell, but the mitochondria themselves. So CoQ10, an important cofactor in, again, the electron transport chain and energy production, ATP production. Incredible, you can see that your levels drop pretty dramatically as you age. And we know that certain cells don't just have one mitochondria. They can have hundreds or thousands of mitochondria based on how much energy that cell needs. Like a brain cell or a heart cell is highly energy dependent. So depleted CoQ10 levels can have a dramatic effect specifically on those cells, on your heart and your brain. And so as we age, we should look to replace these levels of CoQ10. PQQ is kind of a sister compound to CoQ10. It's helpful. It's been shown to protect from reactive oxygen species, which are oxidants that cause damage, that cause oxidation, but it's also been shown to help with mitochondrial biogenesis, which means creating new mitochondria. And yeah, it can be found in a number of healthy foods. Again, like when you eat healthy, when you eat whole food, these compounds will be found in there. I'm a big fan of, yes, the biohacks with the devices and the supplements and eating right, but I feel like these components don't get mentioned enough, that meditation, gratitude, breath work, these things help put your body into a parasympathetic state, that rest and digest state, instead of fight or flight associated with the sympathetic nervous system. This allows your body to heal and recover and be in balance, so that when you need to go into the sympathetic nervous system, when you need to be in fight or flight, you can, and your body's just not overtaxed from always being in that state. And that gets into circadian rhythm, which I feel is often overlooked as well. It's very important. Your body has its sleep and wake cycle. And this goes with the sun and the moon. It's a 24-hour cycle, just like a woman's menstrual cycle can go with the lunar cycle. These planets and moons and heavenly bodies affect us, just like the moon creates the tides in the ocean. So we see that the circadian rhythm affects our hormones, our neurotransmitters, our body processes, our quality of sleep, our disease risk and health and mortality. People that work late night shifts through the night live 30% less long. They die 30% faster than people that have a normal sleep and wake cycle. So this stuff greatly affects you, greatly affects your hormones. It actually, when you don't get enough sleep or you don't function in the proper circadian rhythm, it increases insulin resistance. And that puts you in that state of metabolic syndrome, where you're at risk for numerous diseases like Alzheimer's, coronary heart disease, diabetes, Parkinson's, cancer, etc. So following best practices, block blue light from your devices. That's not good at night. Add melatonin in if you need help sleeping. Watch what you eat and drink. Make sure they're healthy foods and have them during the daylight window, not at night. When you eat late at night, that activates your sympathetic nervous system. That activates things that are counter to your circadian clock winding down. Make sure your bedroom is for sleep only. Set a bedtime and stick to it every single day, including the weekends. Avoid TV programs late at night. And then take things like CBD, melatonin, magnesium, L-theanine, phosphatidylserine, valerian, GABA, and glycine at night to help you sleep. So finally, my recommendations, feel free to take a picture of this or I can send it to you. Here's the diet that I recommend, a ketogenic diet. I recommend paleo, intermittent fasting with a 16 and 8, 16 hours not eating, 8 hours eating, IV vitamin C, or at least that liposomal vitamin C, hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy at 2+ atmospheres, immune supplements like vitamin D, AHCC, lysine that I talked about. I like exogenous ketones and MCTs to boost your ketone levels. Protect muscle with HMB free acid, as well as things like leucine or dileucine. Mitochondria, again, PQQ, CoQ10, ergothioneine, intranasal NAD or IV NAD, methylation supplements, which helps protect your DNA and helps protect you against cancer. Things like methylcobalamin, the active form of B12, 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, the active form of folate, creatine and betaine, inflammation, curcumin, CBD, fish oil, glycation, berberine or dihydroberberine, cinnamon, oxidation, resveratrol, pterostilbene, quercetin, EGCG, sleep, melatonin, theanine, GABA, magnesium. And then these are the things that are not the supplements, but I think are important to do as well to live a longer and more resilient life, where you have more resiliency to stress, be it physical stress, mental stress, disease stress. So your body can deal with these things better if you're doing things to lower blood sugar, like taking a walk after a meal, getting into a parasympathetic state with daily affirmations, gratitude journaling, free drawing and writing. Learn to relax with deep relaxation techniques and hypnotherapy. De-stress with funny movies, great conversations, petting your pet, doing body work like massages and acupuncture, getting out in nature, using light therapy like these red lights, and limiting your blue light exposure at night. Sleep hygiene, getting to bed on time, making sure that bedroom is just for sleeping, circadian rhythm, doing therapy. We all need therapy. We all need to talk to someone. And so, yeah, that's what we got. So let's go, part 2, right? Thank you. And I appreciate you listening and really so thankful for all of you and look forward to getting back to Brazil soon. Thanks, everyone.